I definitely have a sense of if I want something good in my life, it's like up to me to make it happen, which is good, but it's also really good to know that there's somebody else who cares that much to do something really special. So the fact that you planned it was actually also one of the things that made it so special.
I think also like magic is something that you choose, and it's something that you choose every day. And some days also accepting that there's not gonna be magic, it's just gonna be what it is. And when there's no magic, it's just like it's also a season that the magic will come back. I think like that's what I'm learning to do is like when I'm sad, just to be sad. Like I don't have to have the magic all the time, but to also know that the magic is there when I'm ready to choose it.
Hey, and welcome to this week's episode of the Interracial Couple Podcast.
Where it's not all black and white. My name is Sarah.
And I am Matthew. And today, besides being my birthday, I should just say the happy
birthday.
Thank you. Happy
Love
birthday
of my
to me. The best part about having my birthday on podcast day is that you have to be on your absolutely best behavior for me, which is wonderful.
I know. So to our listeners, today I'm on my best behavior. You've never seen it before. This is it.
This is it. All right. Enjoy it, because the next time will be 1 year from today. No, I tease. But this morning we got up and we took a beautiful walk at the beach, and then came home, had a delicious breakfast that you made for me, which was wonderful. And then we did some journaling, and here we are, kind of ready to dive in. And for those of us who haven't been joining us all the way through our second season of the podcast, we have been letting the Lover's Journal be a guide for our conversations, because each week of the journal sort of inspires specific or general conversation, ideas, thoughts, and we've been allowing that to guide us, and it's been really a lot of fun. And I'll say before we get into this week's that each month there is a monthly challenge, and that was born out of something that Sarah loves to do. We've talked about this in the past, but something that she really liked to do before we were together, kind of setting up these challenges for herself. And it's something that we've often done, but we also brought it into the Lover's Journal. And this past month that we're coming to the end of, the monthly challenge was a morning kiss, first thing every morning, no matter what, if you're together. Some people don't live together, so they have to modify those a little bit. But for us, it was this really kind of special thing. And I was going to reach out to someone who bought our journal and said, I love it so much. We had to modify a few things because we're in a long distance relationship. And I thought, even if you're in a long distance relationship, you might not be able to give a morning kiss, but you can send a morning kiss video, a morning kiss audio message, a little text in the morning, something that's just this little thing every morning. And so here we are coming to the end of a month. And how has it been for you?
For me, it's been really great, because what usually happens is that you wake up before me, and right before I wake up, you come and you're like, give me a morning kiss. And sometimes I'm just lying there and I'm being lazy and I'm procrastinating and I'm like, Matthew, come kiss me. Because I can't leave the bed before I get a kiss from you. But there have been a few mornings where I have either woken up before you and given you a morning kiss. Like this morning, I was up before you and I was very excited. But I didn't remember that it was a morning kiss. I just kissed you because I was like, good morning, it's your birthday, let's go to the beach. And then I was like, oh, did we kiss this morning? And I was like, yeah, we did. But it was for your birthday.
It's been really, it's something that I love, because on a good morning, it's great. It just kind of sets off the day on the right foot. But there have been 2 or 3 mornings this month where we woke up and it wasn't either we'd had still some sort of residue from the day before, or there were some things going on. I don't remember specifically, but But I do know there were like 2 or 3 mornings where to kind of like break through a little bit of this kind of haze or malaise or frustration or whatever it was, to break through that with an intentional kiss, I think has just made for those 2 or 3 days, it made them better. And it also helped to, it was also kind of like part of a healing process. And when I say healing, that's even something that's really small, but even small things need healing. And I really loved doing it.
Me too.
So who knows? We might even continue, but next week we'll talk about month 2 challenge.
Oh, there's one last thing I have to say is actually I had to think about it. It just didn't come as easy as I thought it should come. Because sometimes I feel like you roll out of bed and like you get out of bed before me. And then when I have to get out of bed, I just get off bed and start to do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, it was a good reminder in the morning where it was like, if I wasn't paying a lot of attention, it's something that I was just like, oh, it's a morning kiss. But actually I noticed like if I don't put the intention out there to do it, like we did for that month, it's not, it doesn't usually happen. And I was like, usually it was like, if you had asked me before this challenge, if I kiss you every morning, I would have said like, probably a lot of mornings, but it's not. I don't.
Yeah. And it's really nice, that just kind of initial connection at the beginning of the day. And it sets the relationship part of the day off on the right foot. And I think, as we all know, the relationship can also be the place that catches some of your crummy moods with other things. It can be a place where our own personal patterns get triggered by the other person, even when it has nothing to do with the other. So I think that saying, you know what, we are a team, we're connected, we have this love, that's the basis of our day. And then the day can bring on the rest of the day's crap. The life can throw its curveballs, but we kind of have that as this little beginning of the day, this foundational moment, which I really love.
Yeah. So should we jump into this week's?
We're going to jump into week 8, I believe.
Oh my
we are
goodness.
at. So I should say, when I sat down to write today, I was like, it says at the top of the page, date. And I thought, oh, what's the date? And I looked at my phone. I was like, oh, it's March 4th. It's my birthday. And then I went to write the date, and I almost wrote 1977, the year I was born. I was like, wait, no. It's my birthday, not the date on which I was born.
It was funny when you asked me, like, what's the date? I'm like, dude, it's your birthday.
It's my birthday. It's my birthday. So the first prompt for this week is, what is your favorite date you've ever had with your significant other? And I probably could have come up with a few. And for anyone's listening right now, this is kind of a fun thing to consider. I think, like, what is that thing? What was that? And like, well, we'll get to it. So this one's a pretty quick. Almost on every one of these, I fill up all the space because I'm a journaler. But here I just wrote just one thing.
You did?
I did. But
I did too.
Oh, I'll take it.
But what was yours?
Mine was when you took me out to eat at the Inn of the Seventh Ray in Topanga.
Oh my God, that was mine too.
Ooh, all right. What was your other one?
The other one was like when we went to Zurich on that night.
That was my almost one. I was like, I couldn't decide between those two. That's very cute.
That was really special that evening.
I think we should probably continue doing this. Do you want to marry me? Oh, wait, you already said yes.
So what made the Inn of the Seventh Ray so special?
So this is good because that's the second prompt.
Yeah, that's the second prompt. So I answered it actually on top. Then I went to the second prompt and I was like, oh.
What made it so special?
What made it so magical?
Okay.
Is the word.
Magical. Oh,
Yeah.
What made it so magical?
Mm-hmm.
Even that's a better word. Special is... Yeah, it's just not the word. I'm glad we did write magical.
Yeah.
So would you like me to start then?
Yes.
Okay. So what made it so magical?
No, actually, I want to start.
Okay, you go.
Okay. What made it so magical was like this place. First of all, like I had planned the date and
That's also key one to part of why it was so special for me, but keep going.
it was like I planned the date, and because I had planned the date, it was in the beginning of our dating. I think it was in the first year or the first few months.
In the first year.
In the first year. And I was waiting for you to take me out on it. Like I was in those months, I was kind of like hoping that you're going to take me out on like a date.
Like a really special place.
Correct. And then I called a friend and I was complaining about it. It's the weekend. Matthew just want to stay home. And my friend was like, you could take him out. Like, you could organize the date. Like,
I didn't know this part. Anyways, keep going. I'm glad to know this because
Yeah.
whoever that is, I'm getting their number afterwards and I'm calling them.
And then I was like, wait, actually, like, I don't have to wait for you to take me out on a date. I could organize the date. And so I went online.
So you took agency in the relationship to get what you want. God.
Correct. I was like, if I want to go out, as my friend has said, I am 100% responsible for planning to go out and making the plans to go out. So I was like, I am a responsible human being and I am planning this date. And so I went to, of course, Google, and I was looking for restaurants around LA and surrounding areas. And I saw the Inn of the Seventh Ray, and I was like, oh, this is the place. I looked at the pictures. It looked magical. And I was like, this is where we're going. And so it didn't disappoint. I think the whole part about it for me, what made it so magical was like that I took responsibility for taking you out on that date. And then we just went, and it was so beautiful with the skies and I don't remember if the food was good.
Food was good. Was it the best meal I've ever had? No, but was it one of those magical I've ever had?
Yeah. And then we just sat there, we had some wine, we talked about all our future possibilities. It was just a really, really special night.
Yeah. That's so fascinating because and this is just interesting that you brought this up because I didn't know that part of the story. And for me, I definitely have a sense of if I want something good in my life, it's like up to me to make it happen, which is good, but it's also really good to know that there's somebody else who cares that much to do something really special. And I think so the fact that you planned it was actually also one of the things that made it so special. And I think that's because you just did it and it wasn't for an event. It wasn't a birthday. It wasn't an anniversary. It wasn't, something special. It was special simply for the sake that it was just. And so therefore, it wasn't kind of put in this on a pedestal. It wasn't a day that had to be framed beforehand. It wasn't like we have to make this special. Right. And even this morning when we were having my birthday breakfast, there was a tiny little thing that came up sort of in the way that I handle special sometimes. Right. Like I want it to be special, like, oh, it's my birthday or even like we were having, we had like lox and it was like really nice lox. And so there was this part of me that was like, oh, and I want to sort of almost like frame this because we need to say it's my birthday breakfast. It's got to be extra special or something as opposed to not really or it can just be special without being something that needs to be framed, that needs to be, fixative or that needs to be put on some kind of pedestal. And so that really was one of these pieces about that was that it just was, and you also, you did it for me, and that meant so much, that was just so wonderful to be just because taken out to a really fantastic place on a really fantastic date. And I even just kind of like putting a spotlight on it, it also there's that feeling I think as men in the dating world, it's like, oh, it's kind of like my job to do something really special for you, to take you out. And that feels really good. It feels really good to do something for someone else in that way.
Yeah.
But it also feels good to have it done to you. And so I think that this thing of we're doing this special thing just for the sake of that, because of you, because I value you, I value us for no other reason except I love you. And that's a great reason. And that made it be something that was both special and not at the same time, which made it even more so.
Yeah. I don't even know if I have anything to add to that.
Ladies, take your man out sometimes. It feels so good. I couldn't believe it.